Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing all my best tips and tricks for making a granny crochet skirt, from taking your measurements all the way to joining these beautiful granny squares. So stay tuned. Now, I am very much speaking from experience here, having made quite a few crochet granny squares. I've made a few Irish crochet skirts as well. I would really recommend going for something with quite a soft drape, almost like cotton, or a light acrylic blend. Using a yarn that accommodates from a 2mm hook all the way up to a 3.5mm hook. I wouldn't go any higher than that, or your skirt may be quite stiff and chunky and it just won't drape and sit right. So I've recently made this granny crochet skirt and I've put the entire tutorial online. And this skirt, it's very light. It is not heavy. I've used quite a thin kind of the standard yarn that we buy to make the squares and fix it together. Very light, very airy, and it very much drapes. It's very flowy. Do check out the full tutorial if you'd like to see that. Even when it comes to the ribbing at the top, if I just pull that, you can see my fingers through it, so it's not too thick. Now, if I can show you this Irish crochet skirt that I've made that I used a 3.5mm hook for. This skirt is beautiful. There is a tutorial for this as well. It's made with individual motifs. Skirt is very heavy, as you can imagine, because each and every motif requires a lot of yarn. So this does not drape as well. It is fairly stiff, I would say. So I'd suggest therefore using a 2.5mm crochet hook and a thin yarn to make your skirt. Let's talk a little bit about measurement and fit. Before you start to crochet, take your waist measurement, take your hip measurement, and also work out the length of the skirt that you'd like to make. If you're making quite a long maxi skirt, I would strongly recommend leaving a slit from just below your knee all the way to the end of the skirt, just because when you walk it will be easier to walk. You won't be restricted by the tightness of the skirt. So with the waist, measure where you want the skirt to sit. Do you want a high waist, a mid waist, or a low waist? With the hips, measure the widest part of your body. This will help you plan how many squares you will actually need. I will give you an example using these squares that I have. This is yet another skirt that I'm putting together. I already have a granny square cardigan with these colours, and I wanted to match a skirt to make a little cute cocord set almost. So these squares are 4.5 inches. What I need is 4 squares across and then 4 squares on the back across. So 8 squares in total, front and back. That is my hip size. So that's the widest part of my hip. This is going to fit me perfectly. Now, my waist is smaller than my hips. So your piece needs to fit your hips, or the widest part of your body, because you see the waistband, we can always rip that and take it in. So I would say measure your hip size, decide on the size of the crochet square, and then divide the width of the square by your hips. Make a prototype panel first, take your measurements and work your size out first. Let's talk a little bit about joining the squares next. So there are so many different ways to join granny squares. I would always recommend grabbing a darning needle. I would never recommend joining your squares with a crochet hook because your work may not lay flat. So this is the wrong side of my work. As you can see, I've gone ahead and joined my squares with this black yarn. I tend to go across first and then I will go down in lengthwise. I make front panel and back panel separately. And if I just show you the right side of my work, you can see that the black does kind of blend in because I join with the back two loops only. This is the right side, this is the wrong side. I would recommend laying your granny squares flat, so the right side facing away from you, and then stitching in rows. You want to pick up the back rows only, sorry, the back loops only. Don't go through both the chains, because the colour thread that you're using, it will very much be visible on the right side as well. So go through the back loops only. Now let's talk about the waistband and the fastening at the top. I've only got one specific way that I tend to fasten my skirts. There are quite a few different ways in which you can do this. You've got the option of doing a ribbed band. You can use zips. You can use hook and eye clips, which I have here. And you can also use elastic or even a drawstring. So if I show you what I have done on my skirts that I've made so far, I've got a ribbed waistband across the top. I've added a belt all the way up the side. I then have extended the ribbed band a little bit because I've put a hook and eye clip on the back, and when I connect that, it sits like this. So this is very much, it's very nice and secure for me. And I've also done that on the granny square red crochet skirt that I have made. If you want to use elastic, what you will do is you will place this elastic around your waist. You will sit it on your waist comfortably. You will snip the excess. You will grab your darning needle and secure this. You then need to cover this elastic, of course. How you cover that is by making a waistband. So you can do a ribbed waistband, or you can just do double crochet waistband. Place that inside your waistband, and you will go ahead and stitch the waistband inside the skirt like this. So you will add seams across here, and that would eliminate the need for you to have a zip, a hook and eye clip. This is one way of doing it. I am going to go ahead and add an elastic waistband to this skirt that I'm in the process of making. You have a full tutorial on this skirt that I've made, also the white one that I have shared on here, so go and check those out if you'd like specific instructions. And the next thing is adding a border. I do tend to add just a single crochet border around all of my skirts. I just feel like it gives the work a really nice and neat finish, and it just kind of really pulls it all together. Finishing touches: be sure to steam your work after it's finished, or iron your work just to flatten it out a little bit. Please do that if you are not blocking your granny squares. If you're making a granny crochet skirt, I would strongly recommend blocking your work. You don't have to go and buy a blocking board. You can grab some sewing pins, some cardboard, wet your granny squares and just block them like so. Again, I also have videos for that, so do go ahead and check those out as well, please. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and please do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Take care.